Friday, October 4th, 2024, is a day that will live in infamy in my stock market memory because we got a jobs day shocker which vindicated the great risk rally of 2024. Latest labor data vindicates the great risk rally of 2024. HSBC's Kettner tells clients to remain aggressively risk-on. The ever-resilient U.S. economy is once again causing havoc for Wall Street worrywarts who have sounded the recession alarm all year long and some longer. Non-farm payrolls came in at 254,000. That's 107,000 above what was forecast. Previously, it was 159,000. So, the highest blow it out of the water estimates were like 200,000, and 254,000 just blew everybody's mind. The unemployment rate went down from 4.2%, which was the previous unemployment rate, and it was forecast to be 4.2%, and it came in at 4.1%. But an important thing to know about that, it's actually lower than 4.1% because it came in closer to 4.05% if you go out 3 digits. Friday was just a good news day as striking port workers agreed to return to work Friday as negotiators reach an agreement on wages. Now, they still have a disagreement about automation. The union wants there to be no automation, but I think it's eventually going to come anyway. But they agreed to go back to work until January 15th, and they will work out the details on automation then. But the agreement on wages has been reached. This was a difficult issue for the Biden administration because they're very pro-union and they did not want to interfere. But this involved the entire East Coast and would cripple the economy right before an election, and he was going to do whatever he had to for this not to occur, but he doesn't want to step on the union's toes either. And it's very good news for Kamala Harris, along with this wonderful news on the unemployment rate and the non-farm payrolls and the port strike being cured. This is very positive for Kamala Harris's re-election efforts. The dock workers' strike was one of 3 potential disasters facing the country, and that seems to be put off for now. But we had Hurricane Helene tore up the southeast, and much of it is declared a disaster area. And the Biden administration quickly responded to it and talked to all the governors, and I think they're pleased with the way they handled the hurricane relief. Also, we have war between Israel and Iran, which they're worried would get out of hand and would create a broader Mideast war, and that hasn't happened. So after these 3 potential disasters, the stock market, the Dow leapt to a record, and stocks recouped weekly losses after jobs report blowout, and it literally was a blowout. Stocks soared on Friday as investors welcomed a key monthly jobs report that showed hiring remains robust in the U.S. economy. The Middle East crisis and a return to work as U.S. ports also stayed in high focus. The S&P 500 added 0.9%, while the Dow Jones Industrial Average gained more than 300 points, or 0.8%, eking out a new record. The tech-heavy NASDAQ composite moved 1.2% higher. Friday was a classic day to do day trading for me. I'm well experienced with TQQQ, which is the triple leverage version of the 100 largest companies on the NASDAQ. And it is very volatile on a very volatile day. And the more volatile, the better for day trading. And I bought it in the pre-market and it shot up and I made an immediate $4,000. But then it went down and it was just a mystery to me. What is going on? And it turns out mortgage rates went up and there's some general fear or people that are looking forward to 0.5 rate cuts are now saying, well, it's going to be 0.25. And so there's some disappointment there. And so that was all a reaction to, well, the Fed isn't going to cut rates as fast as we thought they might. But as the day wore on, that idea got thrown out the window as the realization hit that it's much more important that we have a hot economy than the Fed cut rates. And the stock market went up, and I made like $10,000 by the end of the day. A stock that I put over $250,000 in is the SPY fund, the S&P 500 ETF Trust, SPY, and it behaved much like the triple Qs, actually, in that it went up early and then it went down, okay? You know, what I've learned is when you have such a positive story as we've had, you have a very positive narrative, and there's just the short sellers, especially early in the day, the bears jump on the hot market. They love to do that early in the day. But later in the day, they're going to cover their shorts, and they're actually going to propel the market up. And day traders say this a lot, that pretty much the best time for the market to go up, in my experience, is around 10:30, 11 o'clock. Get in somewhere around there, and usually the market will go up somewhat. And that's even in a bear market. I've noticed that. And somebody actually did a study on that and said that if you bought at 11 o'clock and you held until 4 o'clock during a bear market, and they did a protracted bear market, that on average you'd make about 17%. So there is, I think the bears get all bared up the night before, and when they see a market spike, they jump on it because they know it's going to go down somewhat. That's something that's been very helpful to me. But I plan to hold the SPY as a long-term holding. I now have $287,000 in SPY. I put about $231,000 into Berkshire Hathaway, BRKB, which is Warren Buffett's fund, of course. And it was a good move. I got it low in the day and it just kept it. And I plan to just keep these stocks when I put that much money into them. Though it's a high belief stock, let's put it that way. Its relative strength is 59, which is decent. I bought 1,000 shares of Alphabet, which is better known as Google, symbol GOOGL, Google, as the day traders say. And I bought it just a little bit after the pre-market, and I held it the whole day. I bought 1,000 shares. So it was my one loser for the day, but not a big deal. It didn't lose by much. So I plan to keep on holding it. I love the stock, always have. Its relative strength is 66, which is good. I also bought 1,000 shares of NVIDIA, because it went down and then it started to move up like it meant business. I bought it at around 123, so it was a profitable trade, and it acted like it meant business. Its relative strength is 64, which is good. I bought 500 shares of Dell Technologies, DELL, and it worked out well. Bought it earlier in the day. And its relative strength is 50. It's an equipment maker associated with artificial intelligence, so it's a favorite. I bought Vertiv Holdings, symbol VRT, which makes electrical equipment for data centers, and it dutifully managed to eke out a gain. Uh, they mainly make cooling systems for data center. Its relative strength is 54 on the day, which is okay. Then I decided to go into China, and I bought FXI, which is their large cap ETF. And I have no idea what I'm doing, but hey, it seems to be going up a lot. It's made 11% in the last week. I bought it on Thursday, so I'm money ahead. I'll be getting out if it shows any signs of going down. So my commitment is not great, and I have no idea what I'm doing. What could go wrong, right? Which is why I probably will get out of it quickly if it starts to go down. In thinking about this China stock craze, I was thinking, what companies do I actually know in China? And there is one that I've followed for about 2 or 3 years, and that's BYD, symbol BYDDY. And they actually outsell Tesla in China because they make a cheaper version of an electric car. And they also make hybrid cars, and they make internal combustion engines cars. So they make all types of cars, plus they make electric buses. And this company goes way back. So it's a very solid company, and Warren Buffett has owned it at various points. I bought it on Thursday, so I'm already in the money. I'm slightly more committed to this one simply because I know something about it, which is always a good thing to do. And its relative strength on the week is 76, which is good. And last but not least is NuScale Power Corporation, SMR, and you want to think of that as small modular reactor. It's actually a small modular nuclear reactor. This is so you can put a nuclear plant in your backyard. Think of it as a neighborhood nuclear plant. And I'm waiting for one of the Magnificent Seven to say, hey, we found this company that can supply all of our energy needs and is clean energy and isn't as dangerous as these gigantic plants and is manageable. So I originally bought it at $8, and I got to admit I traded in and out of it because I lose the faith at times because I don't see the headlines of one of the majors adopting it. And I'm waiting for those headlines. But when we get those headlines, it'll be off to the moon, I think. So I get out of it at times, but I always get back in. And it's at $13 now. So, if I had just held on to it, I would have I'd be on the way to doubling it. So I think I'm going to just settle down. I have 1,000 shares. What's the big deal? I mean, that's a relatively small amount for me. So I should just let it ride and try to forget about it. Unless I hear devastating news, which I haven't heard. Its relative strength is 68, which is good on the month. So, folks, I think we have a soft landing, and it's possible that we won't have any landing whatsoever. It's likely that inflation will pick up. When the stock market storms upward like this is inflationary, I should say. So it's expected that they're going to have trouble getting inflation down to where they want it to, but that is no problem compared to a recession. I will take inflation over recession any day, but I think we have a softish landing at the very least, and it's possible that we have no landing, which I haven't been able to say. So that's the way I roll. Thank you.